Hi, welcome back to the LaunchPoint Leader Podcast. My name is Lori.
Hey, this is Beau.
We are excited to be back here another week with a story that someone has sent in to us of the challenges they're facing in leadership right now. And so we're going to dig into their story, give them some advice, give them some tactical steps that they can take away. And if you ever want to write in and share your story, we would love to hear it. So you can write in always at advice@launchpointleader.com. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
This today says, Dear LaunchPoint, I recently listened to your episode on the fear of confrontation and found it incredibly insightful. It really resonated with me as I'm currently facing challenges in this area of my job. Our company does not have a formal system in place for performance conversations or disciplinary actions, which has left a gap in how we address performance issues and maintain accountability among the team. It isn't so much for us that we're afraid to have a conversation, it's that when we sit down, we don't always know the right things to say. The business has grown fast. There were just a few years ago only 10 of us at the company, and it was really easy to handle issues as they came up. Now we have a little over 50 employees. As we continue to grow, I'm increasingly concerned of the lack of structured performance management that is going to lead to inconsistencies and allow my managers to make decisions based on personal feelings rather than objective standards. So I would love for you to spend time digging into how to establish effective performance management systems. I'm interested in strategies for implementing performance reviews, creating clear guidelines for disciplinary actions, and keeping it so constructive feedback is welcome and expected by the team. Thanks for the work you're doing and providing such a supportive platform for leaders like myself. Sincerely, Feedback Failures.
Possibly my favorite letter ever.
Ooh,
because this person said that we were insightful.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
So
I like that.
I mean,
and providing a supportive platform.
Yeah,
that's also
but insightful
really nice.
is really. I mean, that's really
supportive.
We'll
start our adjective list.
So right, let's do that. So thank you for the letter. I would start with saying that you really do need to get something in place here because this is opening you up and your people up to be treated unfairly, to be treated differently. And honestly, for you as a business, what I'm hearing is maybe owner or leader. It's like this is potentially opens you up for legal issues. So I would say right on track with what you need to do. I'd give you a couple of points. So the first would be just to start. And as you're preparing all the other things that I'll suggest is just start having those performance conversations routinely. Don't wait for a complete structure in order to start. Second, though, I would say you need to get with an attorney, an employment law attorney, and get a handbook, an employee handbook drafted if you don't already have that outlines the things that you're talking about when you will have performance conversations, what the standards might be, so that everybody has a level playing field. After you do that, I would then create, this is going to have to be work that you really do, is create your key metrics and your behaviors that are acceptable for you and are desirable for you that every single team member will be measured by, and create that matrix, if you will, or create that evaluation sheet so that every single manager that evaluates people is doing it the exact same way. Train them on how you want those evaluations done. I think it's always helpful to bring in that attorney or someone from a human resource perspective as you're going through those trainings with your management team. Outside companies can do this for you if you don't have anybody internally. But this is a key part of setting it up so that everybody is treated the same and every team member feels like they're cared for and respected. But I think after that, I would say one potential resource that would be helpful for this individual. There's a book, and I don't remember who the author is, but it's called Helping People Win at Work. It's a little brown and black book. It's a really easy read, but it details the story of the WD-40 company. And I don't know if anybody knows what WD-40 is anymore. I still love WD-40. It gets the squeaky out of all the things that squeak around your house. But that book outlines so beautifully this idea of doing all the things that you're asking about and really making it in such a way that your team members can't help but to know exactly what's expected at all times and to be known how they're going to be judged by at all times.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I would say to to
Yeah,
kickstart
we
that.
recommend this one a lot at our work. And I always tell people when I'm talking with people that have read the book, I'm like, the WD-40 book. And
Yeah.
everyone immediately knows which one you're talking
Yeah.
about. When it's been a while since you've read a book, you're like, which book was this? What am I? WD-40 book.
Which,
We've
by the
done it.
way, WD-40 is not a sponsor, but if
It's
you
not.
guys are listening, we would be happy. We use it in our restaurants. I use it at home. So if you want to send us some WD-40, we'll be happy to put it up here.
Right here.
And if you want to
Drinks on this
sponsor
side,
us,
WD-40 right around here.
that would be great. And we could really use it to say we're just getting the squeaky out of everybody's
That's
business.
right. That's a good tagline to the end of each episode now.
We are available for work. So we're
I
here
will
to
say, back around to helping people win at work, the authors are Ken Blanchard and Gary Ridge. So if you'd like to look it up, it's a great one.
Ken and Gary, good guys.
Ken and Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you really went through a lot of really actionable steps here, which I think is great. So talking about, you opened with like teaching your team how to treat their team members and having performance conversations, saying that like that's something that you can start now. You don't have to go through the backward steps to do that you can start that now. But I think setting these standards long term is going to help you, because as a leader, if I'm having a conversation, I'm unsure of the policy to follow, but I know something's wrong and I need to address it.
Yeah.
It is going to make it so much harder. It's exactly the state you're in. You say, we're not afraid of having the conversation, but we don't know what to say. And so starting with your leaders and having those performance conversations to say, this isn't disciplinary. This is to teach you how to have these with your team. And then, kind of take us through the rest of the timeline. So talking like working with a legal team, getting a handbook, measurement metrics. How long should this take a leader? Like if they're planning this out in their head, of course it's different for everybody, but to give somebody reference to go off.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how invested you are as the leader leading this charge for your company. Yeah. But I would say anywhere from 3 to 6 months would be an acceptable timeline for this, because it depends on the attorney that you're going to partner with, their workload. They might have, I think most employment law attorneys have standardized handbooks, just like any lawyer that you would go to create a will.
Right.
For you, they have a standardized document that then they can customize for you.
Right.
So if you go and find an attorney that has a standard one, then you take with you your customized actions, or this is what being late looks like, or this is, how many times X can happen. And then, so I think if you take that, the 3-month timeline is more realistic, but I think anything in the 6 or less months is probably.
Yeah. So you're not looking at a year plus to implement this, but it's going to take more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Put this in place.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it could take less time. But I think if you judge 3 to 6 months, you should be good to go, which is why I say start now, though. Start now.
Absolutely.
On the core things that that might be kind of that tribal knowledge in your company, and actually create a simple document that says we're going to start holding everyone accountable to this in all departments across the business, and then start doing those, monthly or quarterly performance conversations as you're getting all the legal stuff taken care of.
Yeah. And especially for this specific scenario, going from a team of 10 people, it's really easy to survive through tribal language and through this person does this because it's Gary at the office. We do this because it's Jerry.
Gary and Jerry.
And it was 10 people.
Yeah.
But now that it's up to 50, that things are scaling really quickly. So it sounds like a success to your business and a credit to your team, but putting these in place are so hard. So let's talk about the flip side.
Okay.
Our leader is putting all of this in place. They're working with the legal team. They start putting into effect these things as they come out. How's the team going to react? What's maybe, I don't want to say backlash because that sounds like negative connotation, but what can they expect in that phase of the process?
Yeah, that's a great point. So I think as you're going about this, I would just be transparent with your team.
Yeah.
Let them know that there's not a problem, but they are trying to prevent future problems and to make sure that every single one of those 50 team members is treated with honor, dignity, and respect, and they're treated the same when it comes to policy and procedure for the company, and that you're not doing it because there's necessarily a problem with how it's happening right now, but you're looking as a leader into the future, and you're seeing the growth you've already had and projecting more growth and going, we've got to get some structure around this
now
thing
before it's
too late, before we have a problem, and let them know that it might feel a little bit different, but it's all because we want to protect them and what they have built at the company.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, and to set their expectations from the beginning. So you're not doing this in the background and then all of a sudden have all of it
I,
on
great point.
3 months and 2 days.
Yep.
You've got it done and you present it. That's a lot for a team to take in. So I think being transparent from the beginning and with
Great
those
point.
things that you can start now,
Yes.
preview what's
That's
coming up.
totally agree. I think that's a really, really crucial point for the adaptation or adoption of that new process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So I think this has just been a really tactical
Yep.
episode of quick things like steps to implement. Take notes on
Yeah.
this, and
Let's not make it
you
harder
can.
than it has to be.
No, it's right there in front of you, and you have the ability just from the skills you have to scale a business. Now you can just go back and work on scaling these procedures
That's
from
right.
the bottom up.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for writing in feedback failure. We really appreciate just you being willing to share with us and share with our listeners where you're at right now. I know not just you listening are going to benefit from this, but many others who might have similar situations or are going to go through this one day can learn from this. So if anyone else out there has something they would like to write in and share with us, we would love to just hear your stories, your situations, maybe something you think might happen one day. And we can talk in the hypothetical, but we would love to just partner alongside of you with that. You can always write us in at advice@launchpointleader.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.